first time someone called me from room 17, I thought it was a prank. The motel only had 16 rooms, but at 2:13 in the morning, the phone on the front desk rang, and the little red display said 17. When I answered, a woman whispered, "He knows you're there." Then the line went dead. 3 nights earlier, I had never even heard of the Willow Creek Motor Lodge. I was 26, behind on rent, and desperate enough to take any job that paid immediately. The motel sat about 40 minutes outside town, along an old 2-lane highway most people stopped using after the interstate opened. There was a gas station 6 miles east, nothing west for nearly 30. The motel itself was shaped like an L around a cracked parking lot. 8 rooms downstairs, 8 upstairs, a tiny office beside the manager's apartment, 16 rooms. I counted them on my first night because there wasn't much else to do. My shift ran from 11 at night until 7 in the morning. The owner, Mr. Vale, trained me for maybe 15 minutes. Check people in, take cash or card, keep the coffee going, call him if there was an emergency. Before leaving, he gave me one strange instruction. If the desk phone rings after 2 and nobody answers when you pick up, hang up. I laughed. He didn't. Old wiring, he said. Then he walked out. For the first few nights, nothing happened. A trucker checked into room 6. A couple argued in room 11. Someone in room 3 complained that the vending machine ate $2. Normal motel stuff. By 2 in the morning, the place became almost completely silent. That was when I started noticing the hallway behind the office. There was a locked door at the end of it. No label, no exit sign. Just an old wooden door painted the same dull beige as the walls. I assumed it was storage. On my 3rd night, I asked Mr. Vale about it. "Maintenance," he said. "Why is it locked from this side?" He stared at me for a second. Then he smiled. "Because guests steal everything." It was a bad explanation, but I didn't care enough to argue. That night, rain started around midnight. By 1:30, it was coming down hard enough to blur the parking lot lights. We had 4 guests, rooms 2, 6, 9, and 14. I remember because I wrote them on a yellow sticky note beside the register. At 2:13, the phone rang. The display said 17. I stared at it. I actually looked at the room board behind me to make sure I hadn't somehow missed something. Keys 1 through 16. No 17. The phone kept ringing. I remembered what Mr. Vale had said. If nobody answers, hang up. So I picked up. Front desk. For a few seconds, there was only static. Then I heard breathing. A woman's breathing. Fast and shallow. "Hello?" she whispered. "He knows you're there." The line disconnected. I sat there holding the receiver. Then I laughed. Not because it was funny. Because when something makes no sense, sometimes laughing is easier than admitting you're scared. I checked the phone system. Room 17 wasn't listed. I walked outside and counted the doors again. 1 through 8 downstairs. 9 through 16 upstairs. That was it. When I came back inside, the phone rang again. 17. I didn't answer. It rang 11 times, stopped. Then 3 soft knocks came from the locked door behind the office. I froze. Knock, knock, knock. I told myself it was pipes. Old building, heavy rain, bad plumbing. Then the handle moved. Slowly. Someone was trying to open it from the other side. I backed away and called Mr. Vale. He answered on the 4th ring. "What? There's someone behind the maintenance store." Silence. Then he asked, "Did the phone ring?" That question scared me more than the door. "Yes." "What did you hear?" "A woman." Another silence. "What did she say?" I told him. Mr. Vale exhaled. Leave the door alone. Who's back there? Nobody. The handle is moving. Listen to me. Do not open that door. Then he hung up. I should have left. I know that now. But I needed the job. And after a few minutes, the knocking stopped. The rest of the night was quiet. At 7, Mr. Vale arrived. I expected an explanation. Instead, he walked straight past me and checked the locked door. It was still locked. He seemed relieved. I asked him what room 17 was. He looked at me. There is no room 17. Then why does it show up on the phone? Old system. And the woman? He grabbed the keys from the desk. You're tired. That was all I got. I almost quit, but he paid me cash for the week and added $50. Night shift bonus, he called it. I told myself I'd stay until I found something better. For the next 4 nights, nothing happened. No calls, no knocking. I started thinking maybe someone really had been messing with me. Then a man checked into room 14. His name was Daniel Mercer. He was probably in his 60s. Gray hair, heavy coat, small suitcase. When I handed him the key, he noticed the old photograph hanging behind the desk. It showed the motel decades earlier. Same parking lot, same office, but the building looked different, longer. Daniel stared at it. Is that this place? Yeah. He stepped closer. What happened to the other wing? I turned around. I had never noticed it before. In the photograph, the motel continued behind the office. Another row of doors stretched into the distance. I counted them. 17, 18, 19, 20. I felt my stomach tighten. I don't know, I said. Daniel pointed to the first door in the missing wing. The number was barely visible. 17. You know, he said, I think my parents stayed here when I was a kid. He leaned closer. Then his expression changed. What? He pointed at one of the windows. There was a woman standing behind the curtain. Her face was too blurred to make out. Daniel went quiet. My mother disappeared at a motel when I was 8. I thought he was joking. He wasn't. He took the photograph off the wall before I could stop him. On the back was a date. October 14th, 1987. Daniel stared at it. That's the night. The office suddenly felt colder. Before I could ask anything else, headlights swept across the window. Mr. Vale's truck pulled into the parking lot. He wasn't supposed to be there until morning. The moment he saw Daniel holding the photograph, his face changed. Put that back. Daniel turned toward him. Where is room 17? Mr. Vale didn't answer. Daniel held up the photograph. My mother stayed here. Mr. Vale walked behind the counter and ripped the picture from his hands. You need to go to your room. I asked you a question. Mr. Vale looked at me. Go outside. I didn't move. Now. I stepped into the rain, but stayed beneath the awning. Through the office window, I could see them arguing. I couldn't hear everything, but I heard Daniel shout one sentence. You told the police that wing never existed. Then Mr. Vale pulled the blinds shut. 10 minutes later, Daniel came outside. He looked pale. What did he tell you? I asked. Daniel stared at the office, that there was a fire. A fire. 1987. The back wing burned. 4 rooms. Was your mother there? He nodded. They never found her. Daniel walked upstairs to room 14. Mr. Vale came outside a minute later. You don't discuss this with guests. You said there was no room 17. There isn't. There was. He stepped close to me. Some things are better demolished. Then he drove away. At 2:13, the phone rang. 17. Daniel had told me his mother's name. Margaret. I picked up. Margaret? Static. Then the woman whispered, "Don't let him open the door." I looked toward the hallway. The locked maintenance door was already open, only a few inches. Darkness beyond it. I grabbed the flashlight from under the counter. I don't know why. Maybe curiosity. Maybe stupidity. Maybe because Daniel had spent almost 50 years wondering what happened to his mother. I walked toward the door. The air coming through the gap smelled burned. Not smoke. Something older. Wet ash. I pushed the door open. There was no maintenance closet. There was a hallway. Long. Blackened. The wallpaper was scorched and peeling. 4 motel doors lined one side. 17, 18, 19, 20. That hallway should have extended straight through the parking lot outside. But somehow it was there, behind the office. I heard footsteps upstairs. Daniel? No answer. Then I saw someone standing at the far end of the burned hallway. A woman. Her back was toward me. She wore a pale nightgown, stained dark with soot. Margaret? Her head tilted slightly. Then the desk phone started ringing behind me. I turned. The display glowed red. 14. Daniel's room. I ran back and answered. Daniel? He was whispering. There's someone in my room. Get out. I can't. What do you mean? The door won't open. Then I heard another voice through the receiver. A man, very close to Daniel. Your mother should have kept quiet. Daniel screamed. The line went dead. I ran upstairs. Room 14 was locked. I kicked it. Nothing. I slammed my shoulder against it until the frame cracked. The room was empty. Daniel's suitcase sat on the bed. The bathroom window was locked from inside. His shoes were beside the chair. But Daniel was gone. Then I heard him screaming from behind the office, from room 17. I ran downstairs. The burned hallway was still there. The door to 17 was open now. Inside, Daniel was standing in the middle of a charred motel room. And behind him was the woman, Margaret. She wasn't looking at Daniel. She was pointing past him, at the wall. There were words scratched into the burned plaster. 4 names. Margaret Mercer, Elaine Porter, Susan Bell, Rachel Dunn. Underneath them was another name, Vale. Daniel touched his mother's name. Then headlights appeared through the impossible hallway window. Mr. Vale's truck. But the headlights weren't outside. They were coming from the far end of the burned wing. The woman grabbed Daniel's arm. I heard her voice clearly for the first time. Run. We ran. The hallway behind us filled with footsteps. Fast. Heavy. I reached the office first. Daniel came through behind me. I slammed the door. The moment it closed, the hallway vanished. Just a wall behind the door again. Daniel and I stood there breathing. Then someone knocked. 3 times. Mr. Vale walked into the office from the front entrance. Dry. Completely dry. He looked at Daniel, then at me. You opened it. Daniel stepped toward him. What happened to my mother? Mr. Vale smiled. My father owned this place before me. Daniel stopped. Mr. Vale continued. There were complaints about him. Women disappearing. Police asking questions. He glanced at the old photograph. One night, the back wing caught fire. You burned it, Daniel said. My father did. With them inside? Mr. Vale didn't answer. Daniel lunged at him. The lights went out. I heard fighting. A chair hit the floor. Someone screamed. Then silence. When the emergency lights flickered on, I was alone. Daniel was gone. Mr. Vale was gone. The front door stood open. Outside, Mr. Vale's truck was still parked. Police came around 4. I told them everything. They searched the motel. No Daniel. No Mr. Vale. No burned hallway. The locked door behind the office opened into a maintenance closet. 6 feet deep. Solid concrete wall. They thought I was lying. Until they checked the motel records. Daniel Mercer had never checked in. There was no registration, no payment, no camera footage of him arriving. His suitcase wasn't in room 14. The room looked untouched. I quit that morning. The Willow Creek Motor Lodge closed a month later. I tried researching it. There really had been a fire in 1987. 4 women had been reported missing around the same time. The owner back then was Mr. Vale's father. But there was something else. Daniel Mercer had been reported missing too. Not recently. In 1987. He was 8 years old. He disappeared 3 days after his mother. I still don't know who checked into room 14 that night. I moved away, changed jobs, changed phone numbers. Eventually, I convinced myself I had imagined most of it. Then last week, at 2:13 in the morning, my phone rang. No caller ID. I answered. For several seconds, there was only static. Then Daniel whispered, he found another motel. And somewhere behind his voice, I heard a desk phone ringing.